standard description of how our political system works, how democracy works, assumes that individual voters spend a lot of time and trouble figuring out which candidates are good, which programs are good, what policies the government should follow, and then they vote for the candidates who are in favor of the policies that will produce good results, that will make the country prosper.
Voter ignorance is a form of rational ignorance. The refrainment from acquiring knowledge when the cost of educating oneself exceeds the potential benefit that the knowledge would provide.
Well, why should I go to all that trouble? I know that as a single voter, my chance of determining the outcome of the election is very close to zero, probably about 1 in 10 million, roughly. It isn't worth my spending a lot of time and effort investigating the issues in exchange for one chance in 10 million of affecting the outcome. Given that that's the case, most people won't. And the result is a system where the average voter can't name his congressman.
A rising trend in the American political sphere is the acceptance of voter ignorance. As this graph portrays, only 32% of voters even know the three branches of government, so it is safe to assume that the vast majority of voters can't even name their congressmen and women.
This next graph shows the corresponding trend of straight ticket voting in recent elections compared to split ticket. Straight ticket voting rises as a consequence of voter ignorance and is harmful to the public because voters could potentially harm their own self-interests by just voting along party lines.
But the educated citizen knows how much more there is to know. He knows that knowledge is power, more so today than ever before. He knows that only an educated and informed people will be a free people. That the ignorance of one voter in a democracy impairs the security of all.
Social media has presented the public with potential for voter education like never before. It has amplified the power to receive information and strengthened the outreach of influential opinionators. However, the bigger they are, the harder they fall. Social media has not lived up to this expectation and, if anything, has led to an increase in voter ignorance by sensationalizing headlines and causing news outlets to pick a side. In addition, the ease of blocking differing opinions on social media has created echo chambers through which the misconceptions of politics and the public are fortified and expanded. Media coverage has shifted from real journalism to entertainment, all leading to an uninformed America.
It's absolutely vital as participants in democracy that we check our facts before we go to the polls.
Only informed citizens should have the right to vote, perhaps determined by a civics test. There is merit to this perspective. For one, it ensures that the voters understand all of the perspectives of the political discussion, like all of the elements of the platform that the candidate is running on, the aspects of a proposed piece of legislation, and the overall needs of the community. However, excluding citizens from the voting process is directly contrary to the idea of a democracy, which in itself directly translates to a government run by the people.
Others believe that although the system may be flawed, voting is such an integral part of American society, even though the populace may be relatively ignorant. Political participation is a crucial element of the American identity, giving all citizens the chance for their voice to be heard. While we must work hard to maintain widespread political participation, something must be done in order to combat voter ignorance. To answer this, we asked Ashish the following question. How prominent do you think voter ignorance is, and do you think it is growing?
Good question. Recently we've seen an increase in polarization on both sides of the political spectrum. And I believe that voter ignorance is definitely playing a part, for sure. The issue is not that the candidates don't know the issues, it's that they don't know how their government functions correctly. I think when we look at voter ignorance, it's important to distinguish a knowledge of the issues and a knowledge of the candidate versus a knowledge of how the legislative process works. So I think in terms of knowledge of the process and of the candidate, that's something that has been called into greater question. And so it's important for us to get accurate news out to voters and ensure that voters in today's age are really informed when they're going to the polls.
Our next question for him was, what do you believe its consequences have been or could become?
Another great question. So when you don't have an informed populace, your democracy always suffers. This is unique in our day and age because misinformation from mass news outlets is new, and so we've got to do everything we can as an informed citizenry to ensure that accurate information is getting out to our body politic, and that we are electing candidates who stand for sensible solutions.
So what can we do to inform the public and promote educated voting?
The key is transforming politics from being a taboo topic of conversation to something that individuals can have comfortable but meaningful discourse on. With more people discussing politics, more people become informed whether they seek out the information or not. The fact of the matter is, you can't have people knocking on your doors to inform you about one candidate when elections come around. It has to be an ongoing process that everyone engages in.
And therefore, the educated citizen has a special obligation to encourage the pursuit of learning, to promote exploration of the unknown, to preserve the freedom of inquiry, to support the advancement of research, and to assist at every level of government the improvement of education for all Americans.
Okay, just want to give you all a shout out. Your boy Ashish is still watching. Ron, Danielle, Morgan, Willa. I think that's everyone I know in this class, but if y'all don't know me, I'm Ayusha's brother. Anyway, keep working hard. Don't slack off just because it's senior year. I'm looking forward to graduation because I kind of have to be there. I have a brother graduating. Hi, Miss Stacks. Anyway, y'all take care, okay? See you soon. Bye.